Black child, your dreams are valid. This affirmation couldn't ring more truer than it is for our next guests, who continue to push the boundaries in the music and the dance spaces. One toured Russia as the first black dancer to embody the famous Dying Swan on stage, while the other carved out a name for himself with various bands and ensembles, including the Amandla Freedom Ensemble, with which he's released 2 albums. We are referring to none other than Soweto-born principal dancer and choreographer Kitty Phetla and a jazz trumpeter and composer Mandla Mlangeni, who were named the 2019 Standard Bank Young Artist Award winners for jazz and dance respectively earlier this week. Mlangeni joins us from our Sea Point studios in Cape Town, while Phetla is right here with me in Johannesburg to chat to us about the awards. A very good morning to you two. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Kitty, congratulations once again. It's a huge accolade. How do you feel?
It's very surreal, you know. I think if anything, and this is a point that was brought out at the actual gala evening, that, you know, it means that, you know, someone's listening, someone's watching. So it really is a great honor, you know, and it's very humbling as well, you know, because it means that you must just keep working hard.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's what it means to me, yeah.
Right. Mandla, over to you in Cape Town. Congratulations to my bro, and thank you so much for joining us. And well done on this accolade. What does it mean to you?
Well, it means that, yes, definitely to reiterate what Kitty just mentioned, it's very affirming. It means that people have been listening. It just means that it's just a step towards the next level, and actually realizing my full potential as an artist and what I can actually contribute to the dynamic landscape of what the art is.
So, according to you, what is jazz, and what is it about the trumpet that does to you that no other instrument can do?
Well, jazz is a music that has defined 21st century living, 21st century culture. Jazz music has influenced a lot of the music that we hear today. Jazz music talks to the struggles of the black body, talks to the struggles of people, and it culminates in a victory of our voices being heard. And it represents so much. Jazz music is pop, jazz music is classical music, jazz music is life. Jazz music has reinvigorated the dialogue that we have with each other. Jazz music combines so many cultures, so many languages. It's able to influence and be influenced by so many cultures. Few art forms are able to actually encapsulate that.
Yeah, I quite agree with you, man. Jazz music is life. Now, Kitty, what language does ballet speak that no one else does?
Actually, ballet, I think is a universal language.
Yes.
You know, for instance, if I had to travel to Russia or travel to Switzerland, and you know, you would say that there's a language barrier, but it is a universal language. I could be in a rehearsal room with, you know, a ballet mistress that speaks Russian, but ultimately I'll completely understand what she would need from me, or he would need from me, because, as I said, ballet is a universal language. It's an African language now. You know, it doesn't have to be a westernized language anymore, because ballet is for the masses, ballet is for South Africans, ballet is for Africa, ballet is for the world, yeah.
And I think there's still that perception that ballet is confined to a particular class of people, isn't it?
You know, growing up, I never had that perception. I think because I was always so guarded by who discovered me, you know. I mean, I was discovered at the age of 9 by Martin Schomburg, and, you know, it was always such a guarded, you know, growth, you know. So for me, it was, I am training in the classical form of ballet. You know, so it was never imposed on me that it's a westernized culture until a later stage, you know. And then, you know, when color was put to it, because before I was here to do ballet. It didn't matter what color I was until at a later stage, you know. So, and I started embracing that as well. So for me, I had to start learning to go forward with the whole stigma of it being a westernized culture. Yeah. That's why I say, it's not a westernized culture anymore. You know, ballet has been with us for centuries, you know, so now we've just got to take it forward and make it a very powerful language.
Yeah, and it's a universal language, as you said. Everybody speaks it. And having toured Russia as the first black dancer to embody the famous Dying Swan on stage, how does it make you feel as a young Soweto female dancer?
Well, you know what? I think for me at the end of the day, I think it was me doing my job, you know. I think what always humbles me and what I respect about what I do is that every day there's a constant challenge of mastering my craft. And that's the simplicity of it, you know. And that's how it made me feel. It was also another step forward of mastering my craft, which is a very difficult craft, you know. But I think with the right team behind you, you know, it's... I don't want to say it makes it easier, you know, because I mean, I'm also very lucky at the same time that, you know, I'm in a company situation. Like, for instance, you know, I belong to a certain ballet company. I'm with Joburg Ballet as a senior soloist, and it's also a very good thing because then you have some kind of foundation as well. So you're not too much of a freelance dancer, and that's why accolades such as the Standard Bank Young Artist of the Year is so important, because then you're able to identify who you really are outside certain establishments, you know. So that's what it really means for me, because it means that, you know, Africa is everywhere.
Africa is
My
everywhere.
gosh.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
I'm stealing that line. Now, Mandla, what is it about working with a diverse array of musical minds that is so attractive to you? I mean, you're also part of the Amandla Freedom Ensemble and the Tune Recreation Committee.
I think it's very empowering, Simpiwe, because it gives you the breadth and the depth of what people are. We all... there's a common thread in our humanity, and the thing about music, it's the unifying factor of music. As Kitty has alluded to, is that it's more the music and how it's the truth behind the music. It's the story that you want to tell, and you find, and it's the experience. We all go through periods of sadness. We all go through periods of joy, and those expressed in certain frequencies and certain vibrations. So sound has the power to heal. And that's and through these formations that I have, they have affirmed my belief in humanity and our role as musicians, as artists, to hold up the mirror to a society and highlight the various atrocities that have happened to us, and the hopes and aspirations that we have as a people. And I believe that through the various collaborations such as the Amandla Freedom Ensemble, which highlights my history and where I've come from and how I was influenced politically and socially by the events that happened in pre-94. And I have the Tune Recreation Committee, which speaks also to post-apartheid South Africa in the form of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and how I find music to actually reconcile my past and actually carve out a way forward to actually realizing my future.
And having previously been part of the National Arts Festival, I suppose that next year's festival will be extra special for you, because you'll be one of the headline acts by virtue of you being the Standard Bank Young Artist.
Yes, definitely. And we were the first to actually perform under the new Makanda. So we're going to be bringing that new energy to the National Arts Festival. And we're just... I think slightly more mature Standard Bank Young Artist of the Year, and we've realized a lot of our potential. It's just formulating and actually advancing what we've actually come through and actually consolidating that.
All right, Mandla, thank you so much for your time, man. And Kitty, many thanks to you, and once again, congratulations to you too.
Thank you.
Principal dancer and choreographer Kitty Phetla and jazz trumpeter and composer Mandla Mlangeni are the recipients of the 2019 Standard Bank Young Artist Awards for dance and jazz, respectively.